Any official updates of Scotty's availability?
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's but not going to rule out the possibility they may play, but he's still doubtful. Did go through a little bits of practice today, but that's where we are.
Nick, when you look at the end of gameplay last night, or whenever it was, Wednesday night, what was in your mind as you were defending it, or having you guys defend it, and how did it shake out from your point of view?
Well, we were concerned about a big, kind of punch in the paint and at the rim. And then, we're supposed to switch screens, and we missed a switch on that.
But you recognize the play when they set it up, sort of thing? Like it was like a pretty standard play that they would run?
I mean, it's a pretty standard one run around the league, yeah. Again, I think we were probably more concerned that he was just going to pound his way right in front of the rim and clear everybody out, and they were going to throw it up in the air down there low, since it was, they didn't need a three, right? But again, it wasn't that complicated. We just made one switch. It had been fine. But we had about 7 other chances to put that game away in the last minute 30 seconds. Missed 3 out of 4 free throws, missed our best three-point shooter wide open. We missed our next best scorer wide open at the elbow. I mean, we had to make one of those plays, and that game's probably put away.
On that play, though, Nick, any thought that guarding the inbounder?
Oh, yeah, for sure. But it makes it hard when, again, you got a really big 7-foot-plus, 300-pound guy in there that you're going to have to use another defender. So certainly way to do it is to put somebody on the inbounder. I don't think it affects that pass anyway, the one over the top to the corner or to the wing, but maybe it does. I mean, if I could go back and do it again, I'd like to change about 3 things that we did, but we didn't execute it. And he hit a really tough shot, right? He hit a really tough shot.
You've been on both sides of moments like that in the playoffs. Yeah. How many times have you thought about that over the past 2 days?
Not that much, really. I mean, I think it's fairly simple if you look at it. If we just make one switch, it's not there. Mistakes are going to happen. I mean, I'm probably thought more, Tim, about the 5 other plays I just mentioned to you, right? That
I meant more the final 2 minutes.
I'm saying like what you. I've been in situations too where you can't get a shot for the last 3 minutes of the game, and those really grind you as a coach when you're thinking, man, well, what are we going to? But that wasn't the case at all, right? We got to the foul line, we got wide open shots continually all the way through the stretch run. So,
how do you make sense of that, Nick? That your team just couldn't, deliver when you needed to?
Well, I think that they were delivering execution-wise, and it just wasn't our turn to have the ball bounce our way. I mean, we executed almost everything the way we wanted to at the offensive end. You got to make a free throw or you got to make an open shot. That's it. I think that, again, I'd be way more worried if we were down there dribbling in circles and the shot clock was expiring, or we were hoisting up, turning around, running three-pointers or things like that were going in at the other end. Anyway, go ahead.
Nick, you often talk about the value of experience and reps in the playoffs for these guys. Normally we think of it in terms of like the young guys, Scotty and Precious and those guys, but Pascal and Fred are still young vets in the league. They're relatively new in their roles. Mm-hmm. How much are they still learning and growing from high leverage games like this?
Well, I think from an execution standpoint and leadership standpoint and all those things, they certainly are doing just fine, right? They're executing things. They're doing the schemes defensively. They know what needs to be done, and they're getting it done. So I think okay. I mean, listen, we'd everybody, including those 2 guys, more than anybody would probably like to see the ball go in a little bit more, but that's just the way it is.
How much different is Fred's minute-by-minute experience out there without Scotty as someone who can take some pressure off and let him run off the ball a little bit? How big a factor is that for you?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's a factor. I don't know how big a factor or how to measure that, but I certainly think that letting Scotty be out there and running, it gives us a few different wrinkles. It gives us a chance to run stuff for Freddie off the ball a little bit more. take some of the heat off. I mean, they're pressuring him up the floor all night long, right? And that takes some energy just to get us into our things. He's handled it pretty well, and we've relieved some of that pressure in the backcourt with some screens and things like that. But yeah, I mean, it's a factor, Michael. I just think that, Scotty's overall versatility would help us. I think it'd help us at the defensive end especially.
I think to Josh's point about Pascal sort of growing in this role that he has, Pascal was just saying that looking back at the film, he didn't realize that he only took 5 shots in the second half and overtime, and that he's got to be more aggressive and mindful. Is that something that he's got to be more mindful of? Is that something where kind of look up and say,
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, I think that he does, we do. We got to be more aggressive and keep feeding him that information that he needs to take shot. I mean, he had the ball in his hands a lot, right? I mean, so it's not like he was just running up and down, and geez, why aren't we playing through Pascal at all? He had the ball in his hands a lot, so it's a combination of all of us, as everything is. He sees what he sees out there and conveys it to us. We see what we see, and we gotta get him to make sure he finds areas to get a few more up, for sure.
How do you balance that with, he was just in here saying, take what the defense gives you. You said before, once you draw 2, move the ball and you're good. With, maybe he's making the right play, because he's drawing that attention, but if he only takes 5 shots, how do you balance those 2 things?
Well, if he's gonna take it into the paint with some force on the drive, he's probably gonna draw people, right? And it's up to him to know whether he's gonna get clearance to shoot it or it's gonna be kicked out. When he's got it faced up out there, he's probably got a lot more shot opportunities, right, to take. And again, I just think that, I mean, he's turned down some, in this series, and we just got to make sure that he's not turning any down. Like, he's got to get on full mode, aggressive mode. When there's space on the perimeter, he's got to let him fly. He's always going to do the majority of his scoring in transition and at the rim. But I've always said, or we've always all talked about, is when he has his big games, he's always making more than 3 threes. Or at least 3 threes. That takes him from 20 to 30, 21 to 30 on the game. So I think those are there. Those shot attempts are there from the 3, and he's got to have some confidence to go ahead and take them. I think they're gonna give them to him until he proves otherwise. And we need to prove otherwise, because then that'll open up some more spacing.
You talked about the first for this group, first playoff series for a lot of these guys. This will be the first elimination game. Is there anything you say to them to prepare them a little bit better, a little bit differently for the consequences of a loss tomorrow?
Haven't talked about the consequences of a loss. I think they're probably fully aware, right, that this is win or be done. Put the balls away for the year. Listen, I just think that we're from about this. Well, I thought we did a really good job of making some adjustments against them the other night. I thought we executed them a lot. I mean, listen, we got them to 90 points with 1:50 to go in the game, right? And a super high-powered offensive team with scorers all over the place. So we certainly are doing some things right. It's not like we had a chance to win. We had several chances to win. So we've got to do some things a little better, Doug, for sure. And we got to play as hard as we did and play as physical as we did and just try to get one on the board, because we got to get one on the board to keep this thing going, and then we'll see where it goes from there.
So no fear of a mental let down or a mental step back, knowing?
No, not at all. They're going to come and play.
Does the calculation change on playing Scotty if you're down 2-1 versus down 3-0?
I don't think so. I think if he's ready to go, if they feel like he's ready to go, we play him. Like I've been saying, this team needs these games. He needs them. We haven't seen him at all really in this series. We need to see him and see what he's gonna look like out there. So we need to get him out there, and we need to get a game so we can give him some more games.
Thad I think he didn't play in the second half again. Is that just, it was hard to find a spot for him, or is it still like you're worried about his thumb? What's going into that?
Yeah, I think I'm less worried about his thumb other than I thought. The feel of the game. I thought that OG and Gary were both providing great spacing. Precious was playing pretty well as well. That probably had a factor in it. We didn't even play Chris all that much, so I didn't see if there was any more minutes there to go. Probably Chris would have got him. Doesn't say we won't see more of Thad tomorrow, but I thought the feel of the game needed some spacing on the offensive end.
Pascal saw a lot of Embiid in the second half, but how impactful has Tobias Harris been in sort of slowing Pascal down?
Well, he was pretty good last game, right? I thought Pascal has gotten his share against him and got a lot of places on him. I mean, he's doing a good job of playing him physical. He's putting a lot of bumps on him. I still think Pascal's done a pretty good job of getting that thing down to 8 or 10 feet and getting pretty good clearance on him as well.
Nick, you've talked about, with shooting, you've got to get comfortable taking the shot before, you get to the place where you're making it consistently. Is that like a similar process in going from regular season comfort to playoff comfort?
Yep, that would be another stage in shooting, right? We got these stages that we say guys are in, but it is another stage. I think though too, plays into the fact that like in Pascal's example, I mean, I think he thinks he can beat him and get to the rim. So he kind of sometimes doesn't want to settle because he thinks he's going to be able to use kind of his best go-to move. And if he takes the shot, he's not going to know if he could have got by him or not a little bit. But I think having a little more of a healthy mix of that would be advised.
Just the weight of the history of this league, where no team's ever come back from 0-3.
Yep.
I mean, you've been on the staff when this franchise has been down 0-3. How do you sort of make it meaningful to players when everybody knows it's never been done?
Well, I think it's a heck of a challenge, and somebody's got to do it. That's the way I look at it. Somebody's got to do it. And if it gets to 3-1, it's not 3-0 anymore. And 3-1's been done. Okay.